Hey guys, Ridiculous Badger coming at you from Planet 545, and we are here today to talk about banking. No, don't go nowhere. It's I promise it's interesting, or at least it should be. Especially if you were involved in any way in your guild's officer corps or in your guild's leadership, you should know that the implications of banking are tremendous. It's huge. The impact that it can have on your guild, a guild that banks, by and large, in a long-term conflict, will always beat out a guild that does not bank. You have look, all things being equal, if you guys suck and the other guild is awesome, you're still going to lose. But then again, that other guild probably banks already, so, don't sue me here. But look, here's the thing. Right now, as you can see, my Ark is sitting on resources. If I were to get hit, then those resources would be up for grabs. The enemy would take them if they defeat me, and really, most of the time you should not be defending your Ark anyway, so the enemy will be defeating you. The enemy will take those resources, and it will feed their war machine against me. I don't want that. So if you're not constantly risking those resources, then that's one less thing that is a weak point when you are unshielded. So how do we take care of this? Well, through banking. You send your resources to a shielded Ark. That is the essence of banking. Now, from there, many guilds will take it another few steps. So you'll keep an Ark specifically for those purposes. Everybody will send that particular Ark their spare resources, and then somebody keeps track of it, and you can request your resources back. When you don't need the resources, they're not on your Ark. When you do need the resources, you request them and you have access to them. So when they're not on your Ark, they're no longer a liability. I'm sure you guys have seen a situation where someone calls for a hit on somebody in guild chat, or, hey, I just got hit, can anyone help me? And great, people help when they can, but sometimes people say, I can't, I'm shielded. Or I can't, I'm sitting on a ton of resources. Well, if you're sitting on a ton of resources and your guild banks, then all you have to do is dump the resources onto the bank Ark, and then you can unshield and you can bring the fight to the enemy. So a guild that banks has a higher percentage of pilot readiness at any particular time, whereas a guild that doesn't bank, well, people either, number one, have to use up their resources in order to start fighting without having that liability, or number two, they have to fight with the liability of losing their resources, and the resources, it's just going to go into the enemy. Now, if you constantly present a situation where any open target to the enemy doesn't present any economical gain, then the enemy really has no reason to fight you long term. You keep your resources and you continue to turn them into leverage that you could use against the enemy with troops, with skills, with anything that's shadow matter bombs, anything that's going to present an increased amount of military strength. So the most basic way of banking is exactly what I described. You just keep an Ark. You allow everybody in the guild to send it resources. Somebody keeps track, and this is the FoL guild bank that Omega shared with me, so props to him, props to FoL. And this is a super simple way to bank. Somebody sends resources to their guild bank. That person has access. That person who has access to that account logs in, checks the mails, and just logs the resources. People request resources, and then he subtracts them from the sheet. It's that simple. It's that simple, folks.